Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
Hey everyone. So, when you think about Switzerland, what comes to mind? Probably snowy mountains, amazing chocolate, maybe some fancy watches. But here's the real question. How did a tiny, landlocked country with basically no natural resources become one of the richest places on the entire planet? We're going to dig way past the usual cliches to find out what's really going on. Let's get into it.
So get this. Here's the big, counterintuitive idea we're going to explore. The secret to Switzerland's incredible wealth isn't some treasure hidden in the Alps. The secret is the Alps themselves. Yeah, I know, it sounds a little weird, but that rugged, difficult landscape kicked off a chain reaction, a kind of domino effect, that ultimately built the economic powerhouse we see today.
And that really is the central mystery, isn't it? You've got a country with no seacoast for trade, no massive oil fields, none of the stuff that usually makes a nation rich. So how did they do it? How did they manage to climb to the very top of the global wealth ladder with a GDP per capita that just leaves most other countries in the dust?
Okay, first things first, let's clear the air on a few common myths. The answer isn't as simple as secret bank accounts. And while its history during World War II is complicated, that's not the origin story of its wealth either. Here's a key fact. Switzerland was already one of the richest countries in the world before the World Wars even started. And no, it wasn't the chocolate and watches. The real story is so much cooler.
All right, our first section, from mountains to money. To really get the Swiss recipe, we have to start right at the beginning. It turns out their whole political system wasn't some grand design. It was basically forced on them by their geography. This is where those mountains come roaring back into the picture.
To get our heads around this, we need to talk about something called Bean's Law. It's actually a pretty simple idea. Imagine you're a king. It's way easier to control and tax one big, flat kingdom than it is to control hundreds of little valleys separated by giant mountains. On flatland, it's easy to keep everyone in line. But in the mountains, if you tax people too much, they could just pack up and move to the next valley over. It makes it almost impossible for one central power to get too strong.
And that right there, that's the story of Switzerland. The Alps made it incredibly difficult for any single ruler to take over. So instead of one big centralized government, power stayed local. It was shared among 26 small, semi-independent states, which they call cantons. So this whole system of federalism wasn't really a philosophical choice, it was a direct result of the landscape.
Okay, next up, a nation of competitors. Because that political system, the one born from the mountains, had this totally unexpected side effect. It accidentally created one of the most fiercely competitive economic environments you can imagine. And you can see this competition crystal clear when you look at taxes. Check this out. In the canton of Geneva, the top tax rate is about 45%. But you hop on a train, and in the nearby canton of Zug, that rate plummets to just 22%. That is a massive difference, and it sparks this intense rivalry to attract people and businesses. So what you have is basically 26 little startups, all competing for the same customers, citizens and companies. If one canton gets greedy or inefficient, people and money will literally just move down the road. This pressure forces them all to be super responsible with their budgets and keep taxes as low as possible. There's no big federal government that's going to bail them out if they mess up. And the result of this is just incredible financial discipline. I mean, think back to the 2008 financial crisis. The world's economies were imploding, drowning in debt. But the Swiss cantons, as a group, they were consistently running huge budget surpluses. Look at these numbers. That kind of stability is a direct result of every single canton having to stand on its own 2 feet.
So, Section 3, the innovation engine. Because when you create an environment that's this stable, this predictable, and this business-friendly, it acts like the perfect soil for some really amazing things to grow. This stable environment became an absolute magnet for high-value industries. Now, I want you to really let this next number sink in. In 2022, pharmaceuticals alone accounted for 39.9% of Switzerland's entire export value. That's nearly 40 cents of every dollar they made selling stuff to the world from just one industry. It's staggering. And listen, this is no one-trick pony.
For 14 years in a row, Switzerland has been ranked the most innovative country on Earth. An incredible 63% of their companies are top R&D spenders. Compare that to just over 8% in the EU. They've got a brilliant education system that pumps out skilled workers, and their universities and companies collaborate at a rate almost 5 times the European average. Innovation isn't just something they do, it's baked right into the system.
Okay, let's pull it together. You've got political stability from geography? Check. You have fiscal discipline from internal competition? Check. And you have a red-hot culture of innovation? Double check. These 3 pillars create the perfect foundation for Switzerland's most famous industry of all, finance.
Now, this world-class financial sector didn't just appear overnight. It started way back in the 18th century. But the real game changer was in 1815, when the world officially recognized Swiss neutrality. In a Europe that was constantly at war, Switzerland suddenly became the safe harbor for money. That reputation for stability was everything, and over the next century, it became the go-to place for international wealth.
And what a magnet it became. Today, Switzerland is the undisputed world leader in managing other people's money. They're currently looking after about $2.7 trillion in cross-border assets. It's a truly mind-boggling amount of money.
This all creates what experts call a virtuous cycle. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, just getting bigger and more powerful. Foreign money flows in, which gives Swiss companies access to cheap capital. That cheap capital fuels more innovation, which makes the economy even stronger. And a stronger economy makes it an even safer place for, you guessed it, more foreign money. It's a loop that just keeps feeding itself.
So, let's put all the pieces of this incredible puzzle together. Here is the full recipe for Swiss prosperity.
Here it is, the whole cycle. Step 1, it all starts with the fractured geography of the mountains. Step 2, that leads to a decentralized, competitive federalism between the cantons. Step 3, that competition forces stability and low taxes. Step 4, that stable foundation becomes an engine for high-value innovation. And finally, Step 5, all those factors combine to make Switzerland the unstoppable global hub for wealth that we see today. Each step leads directly to the next. Which brings us to a really fascinating final thought. Was this whole thing just a one-off historical accident? A perfect storm of geography and timing that can never be repeated? Or are there real lessons here? Does the Swiss model of decentralization, competition, and stability hold a blueprint that other countries could actually learn from? What do you think? Which piece of that puzzle do you believe is the most important? Was it the mountains, the competition, the innovation? Drop your theory in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And hey, if you enjoyed getting the real story, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.